I discovered, wealth doesn't ring the doorbell with a big bunch of flowers. No, wealth is a process. And I kissed a lot of money frogs that didn't turn into those wealth princes. But the key thing is I scraped my knees, but I got up again. And I kept trying. I kept holding on to that surely you can learn anything. And then why would money be any different? Read those books, and slowly over time, I started really discovered that there were only 5 core recipes. That when you create these wealth habits and you apply them in your life, and you do, the key thing is doing, taking action, because we learn through action, wealth grows, and that process and it expands, and you get better and better. And I started applying these in my life, and really realized that for me, wealth and a wealthy life is where you have money supporting a life filled with passion and purpose. And that, as opposed to just having a lot of money, there's a big difference about having a rich, wealthy life. It's not what you earn that matters. It's what you do with it. And when we can really shift that paradigm is so important. So I share my story hopefully to inspire you, not to go, woo, look at me, but to show it doesn't matter where we start, how we've messed up, divorcee, zero, whatever, going around the world, this blonde chick, any of us can do it. We just have to learn those skills. One of the reasons why I believe that so many people flounder around in the dark and never achieve financial freedom is they don't know what it is. They don't know what it is for them specifically. Financial freedom, as well as being a concept and a state of being about feeling empowered and confident around money, is actually a specific number. A lot of people say, okay, Anne, so how much is it? Do I need 2 million, 20 million, 30 million? And I go, I haven't a clue. I don't have a clue what your number is, because each and every single one, our financial freedom number is as unique as you and I are, because we get to define it. And that is why it's so important we first define what truly is important to us in life. What is the lifestyle we choose to lead on our terms? What is that? Because here's the equation. You are financially free when you have a big enough pot of assets, and we'll go into that a little bit, that can earn you an income and grow in value to meet your chosen lifestyle expenses, the cost of your chosen lifestyle. So you see there's 2 sides to that. You get to determine the cost of your chosen lifestyle. So for you, if it's going and feeding some goats in a lovely cottage in the back in the Karoo, you'll need a much smaller pot of assets than if you want the Learjet and the yacht and 7 homes around the world. The great thing is our choice, and we get to define that. Now, there are specific equations, and from that, knowing what your expenses are, you can work out what that size of that asset pot needs to be. So now it gives you a destination. Because how do you get somewhere if you don't know where there is? Only by having a clear destination can you then start put together a plan and go, well, where am I now? Where do I want to be? What do I need to put in place to get there? And what are the different things I'm going to use? So there you go. Key thing is know your destination. So what are you working with? Often when we talk about money, the first thing everybody thinks about is income, what they earn. Now, income is one of the ingredients of wealth, and it's an important ingredient of money and managing it, but it's only one of 4. There really are 4 ingredients that work together, and we've got to understand how these interact. It's like flavors, like when you combine different things in cooking, because how you combine these different ingredients can either create absolute money hell or wealth heaven. So the first 2 of income and expenses, these are very liquid ingredients. They're like the river that flows through your life. So income comes in and expenses go out. And how fast that flows or how fast it's sucked out can be determined by your expenses. But there are 2 very key ones, which are more like the banks of the river. They're more static ingredients, and these are assets and liabilities. And a lot of people don't even realize that, how these fit together. Your income and expenses form your income statement, and your assets and liabilities, your balance sheet. And it's so important when we start realizing, we often will have heard those words, and we think of them in terms of businesses. Oh, a business has an income statement, a balance sheet. We are the most important business we have, the business of our lives. And you have your own income statement and balance sheet. And you need to actually have them in your life to know how money is flowing through your life and what is the net result of the way money is flowing through. And that's what your balance sheet is. The net effect of How many assets you have minus your liabilities combined show your net worth. And that is like the banks of the river. And that will define the destination and the journey you'll end up. So it's really important to understand those different ingredients. So simply put, because so many people get this wrong, an asset is something, in terms of your wealth generation, an asset is something that causes money to flow into your life. A liability is something that causes money to flow out of your life. We can get all these convoluted banking definitions and stuff, but if we can really understand that, and we start understanding how the money flows between these different ingredients, we can start, simply put, is this an asset or a liability? Because knowing the difference is key to your wealth. Because what happens is there's a different bunch of kind of money cooks that can be defined by how the money flows through their life. And the first is the break-even. This is often students or youngsters, people who don't even realize these things called assets and liabilities. And we've got a huge break-even culture. We're almost sort of obsessed by as fast as money comes in, we go, how can I get rid of it? How fast can I get this out of my life? And it just flows through. It's like you've got to balance this equation. You know, people go, oh, what would you do if you won the lottery? The first thing everyone goes, how am I going to spend it? And so a lot of people spend their lives at break even. They just keeps flowing through. And they truly believe that if I could just earn more, it'll all be okay. But they don't realize it's not what is coming in their life that's the problem. It's the pattern that they make with their money. And then you get to the next step, just like I did. You go from the break even, you suddenly discover these things called store cards and credit cards and O-loans, and people start stocking their life with liabilities. And their wealth flow pattern starts flowing from the income comes in, and it's immediately converted into liabilities, usually based on what's the minimum repayment. Can I afford the minimum repayment? With no understanding of what the true cost of that is. Not just in the impact it's going to have on their expenses, but on their life, their goals, their dreams. And what happens is as you stock your life with liabilities, it causes your expenses to go up by those increased repayments and the interest. And so liabilities almost have a pumping effect. They pump money faster out of the expenses side. And again, those people believe if I could just get that increase, if I could just find that one business solution, everything would be fine. But the problem isn't their income, it's what they do with it. It's the flow that they've created. Here's a really radical concept. You are allowed to keep some of what you make. In fact, you have to keep some of what you make if you're ever going to achieve financial freedom. And then you get to the next category, and I call these the TV dinner wealth money cooks, or maybe I should call them the Woolies. The Woolies instant happiness meal generation, where they realize, oh, you know, I do need to have some form of saving. I should be sensible about my money. And that nice financial planner's come in and sold them the very good, you know, nice product, which is fantastic for the financial planner and terrible for them. Usually these people, they don't want to get their hands dirty, and they'll go, oh, I don't understand this money stuff. You come up with a plan with me and just tell me, you know, I'll put a little bit aside, maybe in a pension, an RA, maybe I've got my company one. And the sad part about your TV dinners, money cooks, they often think they've got a plan. They often think they're okay. There's this false sense of confidence lulled in, and usually it's pretty late when they realize that actually those pre-packaged products that they've bought into, not only at very high cost to them, aren't going to achieve what they'd hoped to achieve. And I don't know South African statistics, but I was in the States recently, and in the baby boomer generation, which is one of the most privileged, let's say, around money, over 50% of men, it just happened to be a survey of men, who now post-retirement in the baby boomers are having to perform some sort of supplementary work to supplement their income because all of their retirement plans didn't meet their expectations, this TV dinner side. So what you want to be doing is shifting this to a money flow of a wealth shift, where you're really consciously directing money into that asset pot and converting it into assets that truly work for you, not for somebody else. And you fill those up while you're still enjoying life and going through until it gets to a size that is big enough to be able to sustain you. And then you can choose whether you want to work actively or not. And I choose to have passion because we're here to contribute and do and grow. But the joy and the freedom that comes with that choice is amazing. So key message. Income is not the most important flavor that you're focusing on. Assets are. So if anything from today, shift your focus from being income focused. I know our education, everything's about what can you earn. But if you can shift that and really focus on the bottom line,